for people. And I think a lot of it has to do with us being isolated on our phones, too much screen time, not enough sunlight, not enough exercise. And so, in my opinion, if you're just following the crowd and doing whatever everyone else is doing, then you're going to end up in the same boat that a lot of people are in, which is poor health, poor mental health, poor well-being, no peace of mind. I'm currently, as part of my New Year's resolution, I'm doing, dry January, but I'm also trying to cut out social media. I haven't decided. Of course, I know I'm on YouTube right now, but I'm talking about like Facebook, Instagram, the ones that suck you into like the doom scrolling. I know YouTube can be like that, but I know for me personally, Facebook and Instagram have caught me with the doom scrolling. Anyway, I'm trying to decrease screen time from my life right now. So this morning I woke up at 5, right? And I drank some coffee and I went out for my run at like 6. I did a little coffee prayer time this morning, and I went out for my run at 6, and it was still dark. It's cold. I think the wind chill was like 25 here in South Carolina, which is pretty cold for us. Like, people don't even go outside here when it's like 50 degrees, and the wind chill is like in the 30s, which is how it was earlier this week. So, I hate to say it, but within my workplace, and within other workplaces that I've been in the past, although I love my current job, whenever I talk about running, or when I admit that I ran on my lunch break instead of sitting down for a whole hour and just eating, I get a lot of criticism. I get some weird looks. I get some unpleasant feedback from people. I'm not really sure why. It's none of their business, but in my opinion, as long as I'm able to do my job, then it shouldn't be an issue, right? Well, I've had so many negative comments and criticism from people about simply taking care of my health and going running, which is something that makes me feel good. In my mind, it keeps me from being on antidepressants. It keeps my anxiety at bay. It keeps me from getting depressed. I've got that cough because it was cold this morning. That runner's cough, if you know, you know. But, I've just found that I've received a lot of negative criticism over the course of my life, especially being in the South. I feel like our health is notoriously bad in the South. I'm from Kentucky originally, and I remember, I ran in college, and most of my friends were non-runners, and they thought I was, insane for going running. They thought I was crazy. They thought I was so overly thin, even though I was really just kind of average compared to, the obese population there. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. And even, I've gotten, I don't know if it's just me, but I've gotten food shamed and body shamed for not being overweight. I know there's, the fat shaming. Nobody talks about thin shaming. And I don't even want to complain about this because I would much rather be thin shamed any day. But people just can't keep their comments to themselves when it comes to, what I choose to eat. People have made so many negative comments to me over the years about, how can you eat that much and still be thin? Okay, I run 40 miles a week, that's how. That's it. But people have made really mean comments to me because I eat more than the average person, because I exercise more than the average person. This could go if you're a runner, if you're in any type of sport, if you're any type of athlete whatsoever, you're going to eat more on average than the sedentary person. Or if you do eat as much as them, you're not going to gain weight. And I'm sorry, but I shouldn't have to apologize for that, but people have shamed me. People have made me feel bad for eating. Some of the comments that I've gotten is people just are lazy. But when I really think about it, you know, just sort of the thin shaming and the running shaming and the exercise shaming, like, think about it this way. Okay, I have an hour lunch break. Nobody would bat an eye if I sat down for an hour, ate a Big Mac and a bunch of fries and a Coca-Cola and a cookie, which is probably like over 1,000 calories, and I just sat there and didn't burn it off. Nobody would bat an eye. But I would be going back to work sluggish, tired, probably not feeling great in my body. But if I go run a couple of miles on my lunch break, shower, come back and eat, and go back to work, people look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, no, I'm not the crazy one. The people that aren't exercising and that are just letting themselves develop these chronic health conditions are the crazy ones. Now, maybe my lifestyle is a little bit extreme. I get that. Not everybody wants to run 40 miles a week. And I know that there are some, you have to really take care of your body as a runner. I know that there's like joint issues and stuff that can happen, so I'm totally aware of that. Not everybody wants to run 40 miles a week, 50 miles a week, or run a half marathon. For me personally, that's what works for me. But I think just being sedentary and, I just think that if you follow the standard American diet, which is called SAD, SAD, standard American diet, lifestyle that you live, even though it's positive and even though, you know, you're doing your best to better yourself. Let me know what you think, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!